If you're looking for a digital piano that is affordable while still being packed full of features while sitting in one of the most competitive price brackets in the piano world, it'll be hard to find anything better than the pianos we will be covering today. In this video, we're taking a deep dive into Casio's expanding Celviano range, specifically the APS200 and APS450. The Celviano line has always been about offering a classic furniture-style piano with a rich sound and natural playing experience, and the models we'll be looking at today follow that tradition beautifully. Throughout this video, we'll be exploring their design, build, touch, sound, features, and who they suit. Without further ado, let's get into it. My name's Mark and you're watching Miller's Music. Now, before we get into the fine details of the Celviano range, I feel it's important to gain a bit of understanding of the history of the range. Casio introduced the Celviano line decades ago as a more traditional sibling to their Privia series. Where the Privia line tends to favour slimline, modern portable designs, the Celviano pianos are focused on that familiar furniture quality cabinet, something that feels right at home in a living room or teaching studio. What's interesting is that over the years, the technology between Celviano and Privia has increasingly overlapped. You'll often find the same sound engines, the same key actions, and the same digital features, but packaged differently. The Casio Privia range is stepping more and more into portable pianos, with optional stands if you're looking for a home setup. If you're looking for a more portable piano, we already have videos on Casio's PXS7000, PX5000 and PX1100, so make sure you check those out on our page. However, if you love the technology and features of a Privia, but want the look of a real home piano, the Celviano series might be a perfect fit for you. And with the APS200 and APS450, Casio have pushed the sound, feel and overall value much further than older models like the outgoing Casio AP270 and AP470. For many players, these are massive upgrades. Another important distinction to make is the difference between the APS200, APS450, AP300 and AP550 for the most popular pianos in the Celviano range. Next to me, you can see the APS200 and the APS450, both in white, so you can really see the fine differences between the two. However, once you know about the APS200 and AP450, you'll also know everything you need to know about the AP300 and 500. Have a look at the range diagram to understand this a bit more. Here, you can see all four pianos, the APS200, APS450, AP300 and the AP550. The S in the APS200 and 450 stands for slimline, which just means it has a sleeker, more compact style cabinet. However, if you remove the cabinet styles from all four pianos, the core features remain very much the same. The APS200 shares all the same features as the AP300 and the APS450 shares all the same features as the AP550. In this video, we will help you decide which piano you prefer out of the APS200 and APS450. However, once you decide your preference between the two, your final decision will be what style of cabinet you prefer. If you love a compact cabinet, the slimline APS models will be the models for you. If you want a more traditional cabinet, you'll want the AP pianos. So if you love the APS200, but in a traditional cabinet style, you'll want the AP300. If you love the APS450, but in a traditional cabinet style, you'll want the AP550. I hope this has helped make the Celviano range a lot more understandable. With that, let's take a deeper dive into the APS200 and APS450 so that you can find the perfect piano for you. Let's begin with the physical design and build quality, because this is where the first big difference between the APS200 and APS450 becomes clear. The APS200 keeps a clean, straightforward cabinet, still very much a home piano, but with a slightly simpler look. It's ideal if you're limited on room or if you want a piano that blends in without dominating a space. It's lighter, a little more streamlined, and doesn't take up much visual real estate. The APS450 on the other hand steps things up. The cabinet is more substantial, with a more pronounced front board, slightly more elegant curves, and a finish that feels closer to what you'd expect from a higher end Celviano. It just looks more premium overall. If aesthetics matter, and for many people buying a home piano, they definitely do, the APS450 is simply the more impressive piece of furniture. It looks more expensive than it is. Functionally, they're both sturdy, well-built instruments, and both represent a big jump forward compared to the older AP270 and AP470, which now feel less refined. Now let's talk about the feel of the keys and the playing experience, because this is where Casio really show their prowess, combining leading technology with value for money. Both pianos use Casio's smart hybrid hammer action, which is a huge advantage at this price point. This means that there is a different weight for each of the 88 keys, just like an acoustic piano. Compared to the Casio AP270 and 470, the touch is a night and day improvement. Interestingly, while the actual action mechanism is the same inside both these pianos, the feel isn't identical. The APS200 feels slightly lighter under the fingers and a bit more direct. It's great for beginners or intermediate players who want a responsive, not too heavy keyboard that helps build technique without overwhelming the fingers. An important difference to note is that while the APS200 has resin keys, the APS450's keys are a hybrid of wood and resin. Wooden keys offer a better playing experience, a more natural weight and a tactile response that plastic keys, even good ones, just can't match. The keys feel heavier, more stable and far closer to an acoustic upright. In terms of improving your piano technique, I cannot begin to tell you how much having the wooden key action is going to improve your playing experience. For this price, having wooden keys is astonishing and a really big upgrade to the Celviano range. The APS450 feels a little more substantial. Because of the heavier cabinet and improved internal damping, the action feels more grounded and the key return feels slightly more refined. It's subtle, but advanced players will notice it. It just has a bit more of that acoustic funk and solidity when you press a key. So if you want the most natural acoustic-like feel, the APS450 offers an edge. But if you prefer something lighter and more agile, the APS200 is the better fit. The sound and speaker quality is one of the biggest areas where the APS200 and APS450 differ. The APS200 uses a very capable speaker system that fills a small or medium room comfortably. With 2x 20 watt amp driving 12 cm speakers, it provides good clarity, a solid mid-range and enough low end to give you a believable piano presence. For practice, learning and home playing, it does a great job. The APS450 steps things up noticeably. The speaker system is larger with more power and better projection. It still has two 20 watt amps but 2-channel with the two 12 cm speakers like the APS200 but with an additional 3.5 cm speakers. The bass response is fuller, the mid-range has more detail, and the treble feels more open. The difference becomes obvious when playing dynamically. You get more headroom, more resonance, and more tonal depth. It simply sounds more like a real piano living in the room. Both models use Casio's modern piano engine, which is the multi-dimensional morphing AIR sound engine, which is cleaner, richer and more realistic than the older AP270 and AP470. The dynamic response is better, the sustain is longer, and the sample layers blend much more naturally. The APS200 is perfectly suitable for most homes and offers excellent clarity, while the APS450 feels like a step up towards a premium home digital piano with a bigger resonance and a fuller body. In terms of the total number of voices you get on each piano, for the APS200 you have the choice of 19 different voices at 192 note polyphony, including pianos, strings and organs. By contrast, you get 26 voices on the APS450 and 256 note polyphony, so wider variety to choose from. Let's take a moment to listen to these two pianos so we can see the variety of voices available as well as the different speaker qualities. I hope you enjoyed that demonstration. Now let's look at the features and connectivity of both instruments. The models share many of Casio's strongest features, but they're not identical. Both models also offer USB connectivity for computer and app integration, a range of instrument tones, built-in recording, layering and splitting functions, headphone ports for silent practice, a metronome and practice tools. The APS200 comes with a 3-year warranty, while the APS450 comes with an amazing 5-year warranty. And all Casio pianos are backed up with UK-based spare parts department, meaning instruments can be repaired and serviced, extending their life, which at Miller's we believe is especially important for all instruments and gives extra reassurance for those making an investment into a new piano. The APS450 includes Casio's visual information bar, a really clever display that gives real-time feedback about volume, touch, tempo, and other performance data. This is incredibly useful for students and teachers or anyone working on consistency and technique. It's safe to say that you are getting a great number of additional features for both models. However, the APS450 includes a few extra touches that elevate the overall experience, such as the visual information bar, more sound variations, more internal memory for recordings, a slightly more detailed control panel, and a higher wattage amplification, as well as that extended 5-year warranty. It's still very easy to use, but you get more flexibility and more spacious sound. Of course, it is always worth considering for each individual how much you need those extra features. Now that I've gone through the core features of both these pianos, hopefully you have a better understanding of which one might be best for you. Please don't forget that the APS200 has all the same features as the AP300, and the APS450 has all the same features as the AP550. The only difference is the cabinet style. However, if you're still feeling a bit unsure about which to go for, here are my thoughts on who these models are best suited to. The APS200 offers outstanding value. It's ideal for beginners, returning players and intermediate players, students taking graded exams and casual home musicians. If you're upgrading from an entry-level keyboard, this is also an excellent choice. Lastly, if you're a family who want great quality without stretching the budget, this is a great choice. It delivers beautiful touch and sound without overcomplicating things. The APS450 is a stronger choice if you're looking for a richer acoustic-like playing experience. As its slightly higher price suggests, it does everything that little bit better, from touch, speaker quality, choice of voices, and so on. It does have a more elegant premium cabinet, so if you're looking for something that looks amazing in any home, then this is an excellent choice. It also has those additional features we spoke about earlier, and for many people that is a very attractive benefit. It is a longer term instrument and can take your piano playing even further. It's a piano that can happily sit in a living room, music room, or small studio and feel like a statement piece. If you're looking for an even more advanced instrument, I'd suggest having a look at the Casio APS750, an incredible hybrid piano with sounds from one of the favourite manufacturers, Bechstein. We'll have a video coming out on this model very soon, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get alerted when we drop that video. Both models deliver excellent value for money, something Casio has always been known for. Especially for the APS450, you simply won't find wooden keys, this level of sound quality, or these features at this price from most competitors. So to sum everything up, the Casio Celviano APS200 and APS450 are absolutely fantastic digital pianos that deliver premium features at a very accessible price point. The APS200 is an excellent, well-rounded, great value home piano with solid sound and all the essentials. The APS450 takes that foundation and enhances it with a more powerful speaker system, a richer cabinet, a more immersive tone, and a more premium playing feel with its wooden keys. Either model will bring you a musical experience far beyond what you'd expect for the cost. If you'd like to learn even more about these pianos, click the link in the description, which will take you to our website, where you can find a table showing all the features of these pianos, as well as the features of similar models from other brands. Or, if you want to try it for yourself, visit us at the Miller's Music Showroom in Cambridge. We have an array of digital and acoustic pianos from top manufacturers such as Casio, Yamaha, Kawai and Bechstein, and we'd be happy to talk you through the various ranges. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, drop them in our comments or find our contact information in the description below. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.